All right, so today I'm going to show you guys how I put a Magpul BAD lever on my AR-15. As like a typical installation, I find it's quite loose on the bolt catch, and you have to use a mil-spec bolt catch in order to properly install a Magpul BAD lever. And I figured this would be a good opportunity. I bought two because I do like the ability to utilize my right index finger. I'm right-handed, predominantly right-handed, to lock my bolt back, drop the bolt. It comes in really handy. And since I've been kind of trading around like radian lowers, ADM lowers, um, I'm still trying to keep like the same training with my mil spec lowers. So this is a good way to do it. I know some people don't like bad levers. I quite like bad levers, especially for the price. Like I used to be able to pick these up for about, I want to say like 20 bucks, with cost of goods and materials. And I mean, everything's going up these days. Good price for these right now is like $23. That's what I picked up two of them for. I'm going to put it on my blackout defense, as you can see here. I've got it kitted out finally and finally put together and whatnot. I did have some issues with my blackout defense over. However, Tom, the owner of Blackout Defense, I got to speak to him personally. I thought that was a nice little touch. Blackout Defense took care of me. What my issue was is that um, the upper wasn't fitting on like some billet lowers and actually some mil spec lowers, like my X15 Aero Precision lowers. So I just contacted Blackout Defense, told them what was going on. They took care of it. They said their first generation Quantum DTLs were having issues with that. They weren't aware of that, but they'll take care of you. I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, give that little disclaimer, saying that I haven't posted in a while. I don't post a whole lot of videos. I kind of took a hiatus off of social media. I think it's pretty healthy for people just to kind of um, take breaks from social media, more or less. It can be a pretty toxic place. But anyway, um, let's get into the video. I'll just give you a brief overview of what I did to my blackout defense. I put a Sons of Liberty Gunworks Knox on it, Fortis QD, BCM vertical grip, some Slate Industries, Slate stops, Airsoka 18650, flashlight with a Malkoff. It was like an E2 XLT head, obviously an FDE, Airsoka momentary on only tail cap. I traded out my TR24 with Aero Precision Ultralight mount. And I think it works pretty well on this. I traded what the optic was on my previous gun that I had pretty much stolen this from with ADM mount, ADM Recon with a Trijicon Credo 1-6. And, I put like my normal stuff on here. Magpul K2, Radiant Talon, Radiant Raptor, FDE, right? Fortis K2, Castle Nut end plate, Strike Industries buffer tube. I know people aren't like huge in Strike Industries, but I haven't had any issues with some of their products, like their trigger guards, their buffer tubes seem to be okay. And then they Magpul SL stock. This is like their modernized version of a CTR, more or less. I do like these stocks, no wiggle or anything. And then Fortis billet magazine catch. And this is, what is this, like a phase 5 or something, dimpled magazine release button. So it's got a little bit of all the FDEs. I'll probably change out this trigger guard at some point because I like the trigger guard, but it doesn't really match. Of course, I bought a bunch of Lancer FDE mags. Obviously, it's loaded, but I know the condition of my firearms, and guess what? It's not loaded, but I'm still going to check. Empty chamber. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right, first things first, you want to open your Magpul BAD lever, right? And I'm just going to show what a normal installation looks like and actually how much play that you have. This is a really dull knife, by the way. How much play you have with a typical Magpul BAD lever. So for those of you who don't know, it pretty much goes on just like this, but you're going to have like a little plate that you have to attach it to. So here's your little plate, and it comes with a little screw, a little Allen wrench, and we'll get this all set up and taken care of here. So pretty simple. All you got is 3 pieces, right? So you kind of just hold that back there, throw that on. Let's get the screw. And the one thing I've noticed about Magpul BAD levers is, like I said, when you initially put it on without any sort of modification, it does move around quite a bit. Like, there's a lot of play between the bolt catch and the Magpul BAD lever. And another thing I've also noticed is that the actual screw itself, um, if you torque it down and stuff, it's pretty easy to strip. So just, if you plan on taking this on and off a whole lot, just just don't. Like, I'd set it and forget it type thing, or do the way that I do. Like, that's torqued on pretty well. Actually, the play in that doesn't seem that bad. Usually, right? So most of that plays in the actual bolt catch itself. So what I like to do is hold the bolt catch and move the Magpul BAD lever around. And tolerances are going to be different between different types of bolt catches. I can't actually remember what manufacturer of bolt catch this is. I know it's a mil spec. Mil spec tolerances can vary a little bit, but the play in that actually isn't all that bad. But I'll still show you what I do, right? I kind of wanted to show you a better example, because typically I get a ton of play in these between my bolt catch and the Magpul BAD lever. So I go ahead and take that back out and stuff. And you can use different types of tape, right? That's all I'm going to use is some tape, more or less. I have found that electrical tape, just, it works for me. I have a ton of it. It's relatively inexpensive. It's pretty easy. You never need a lot of tape or anything. I'll show you. Like, that's about all the tape that you'll need for this, right? You can just fold that back up. So, and you actually don't even need all that much tape. All right. I know the scissors are freaking nasty and disgusting, but these are just like my work scissors. I probably should buy some more, but I'm cheap. Okay. So I just take a little strip like that, right? And what I'll do, try to get that out. You can put it on the inside of here, right? And it's going to take a little bit of dexterity, right? You're just going to put, sorry, wasn't in camera. Like, if you got a little overhang and stuff, like on this edge, not a big deal. But the overhang on this edge, you don't want it like flapping around or anything. So we're going to cut that off, right? If I can get it. All right. All right. So I got that. Let's make sure that's stuck down there. And then I'll even take this little piece that I cut off, right? I know this looks kind of ghetto, but I promise you, it stays on, it works. I've never had an issue with any of this, right? And since I've got just a little bit more, maybe just try to stick that. Like I said, it takes a little bit of dexterity. You might want to use like a small, a small screwdriver or something to help. But it doesn't look pretty, but you got to remember, it's all going to be covered anyway. So I'll put it in there, kind of feel it around. Let's see how that does. All right. So I got the screw left in there. Like I said, there wasn't a ton of play in here anyway. And what you can do, you can put like multiple layers of tape. I usually just put it on that backside piece of the bad lever, and it seems to work. And when you actually tighten down the screw, you can feel that it's a little tighter for whatever reason. Probably because there's less room in there. So all right. All right. Let's hold this down. Seems about the same amount of play. I ain't gonna lie to you. So let's tighten this down a little bit further. All right. It's solid. Like, okay, I'm holding down the bolt catch, right? There is absolutely no play now. Absolutely no play. The only play is the actual movement of the bolt catch itself, right? So that little bit of tape actually did work, right? So if I'm going to push this all the way down, I'm going to try not to move it. There's absolutely no play in that bad lever. No play whatsoever. I really like that. It just gives it a little more solid feeling, right? Right, let's see if I can do this on camera, but there you go, right? Easy peasy. And that's all you got to do to your Magpul BAD lever to get rid of that play. Like I said, the tolerances are going to be a little bit different between bolt catch and bad lever depending on what manufacturer. Like, let's see if like an Anderson lower parts kit, PSA lower parts kit, Rise Armament lower parts kit, Strike Industries lower parts kit. I started going with Aero Precision and just keeping a bunch of like Aero Precision lower parts kits on hand, and I think their tolerances are pretty damn good. So I just kind of been sticking with Aero Precision. They're about $30 for that lower parts kit, or you can just switch out bolt catches. I got a ton of mil spec bolt catches laying around. You can play with them, but play around with them, I should say, and see which one fits the best on a Magpul BAD lever. But that's all I do, right? And like I said, I may have to add just a little more strips of tape to it, but that does the trick every time, and it feels super solid to me. So that's how I put on my Magpul BAD lever. If you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments. But I thought it was kind of a cool little tip. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching, and join me next time.